Hello everyone. So this video is going to be about your 10th house and the 10th lord in different houses, right? I have made a few videos. One of the videos, I think the part one of this video is about different planets in your 10th house. This house talks about the depositor or the lord of your 10th house, all right? So I'm going to try to cover as many planets as I can, but if I try to cover each planet in the 12th house, it's going to be a 5 to 6 hour long video. So I will try to break it down and make different videos. If you want to request for a certain planet's video or something, please type it in the comments, or if you have a particular question. But make sure that you mention details, because if you just give me the position of one planet or two planets, it's not easy for me to give you an answer. The chart needs to be analyzed in detail for me to give you a concrete prediction. All right. So before I start this video about the Lord of the 10th house, I want to make sure that you understand a few things. That if there is a planet in the 10th house, that planet becomes of primary importance. So we have to understand what that planet does and how strong that planet is. Are there any conjunctions or aspects? All right. So this is a general analysis of your 10th lord, no matter which which is the lordship of your 10th house. It will be different for different ascendants. For example, a Sagittarius ascendant will always have Mercury as the lordship. So if you're a Sagittarius ascendant, you will look at the position of Mercury. If you're a Leo ascendant, you will look at the position of Venus, wherever Venus is, because Taurus has the lordship. If you are an Aries ascendant, you will look at the lordship of Saturn, or wherever Saturn sits, of Capricorn, right? Lordship of Capricorn, and you'll check the position of Saturn. Aspects, conjunctions, all of these things will matter. So don't think that because I said you're the lordship of your 10th house is in the 4th house, so you're supposed to do this and you're not doing this, or because we have to look at other factors like lordships and conjunctions. Okay, so get your charts ready. Look at the lordship of your 10th house and see where that planet is. Okay, also refer to a video where I have mentioned different planets in the 10th house. So your 10th house is the most important house when we are looking at your career or what you're supposed to do. All right, business or job. I've also made a video about business, whether which will suit you more, business or job or both. So take a look at that video as well, and let me know if you have any questions. So let's start with your 10th lord in the 10th house itself. Okay, so 10th lord in the 10th house itself is a very, very good position for doing your own business. Okay, especially if the 10th house is exalted or it's strong, sitting in the own sign, getting aspected by malefics, and if it's getting a positive aspect from a well-placed Saturn or Jupiter, especially Mars. If Mars is your 10th lord and it's sitting in the 10th lord, for example, if you're a Cancer ascendant, Mars is sitting in Aries in your 10th house. It's a pretty good position to be in the healthcare industry or a fitness coach or anything to do with the body, right? Also a good position to start your own business. People who have this kind of position could do multiple things in their lives, and all depends on how strong it is, the strength. We have to look at exaltation and debilitation and enemy sign. We also will look at the position of the Lord in Navamsha and the Shamsha and see if they are good or not. If it's debilitated in Navamsha, it may not show good results. Okay, now we'll look at the 10th Lord in the second house, in the 11th house. Why I said second house is because we will look at it. If the 10th lord is in the 11th house, it is second from itself. So we have to look at that as well. It's very important. Okay. So firstly, it's a very, very good, strong position. Usually people with this kind of a position make a lot of money through their network circle. All right. So their network circle is very, very important. They could have a very, very good network of people. So if you have this kind of position, make sure that you are networking with the right people. Your friends, especially your older siblings, could be very helpful or instrumental in your career. You could be into your family business. You could be also into anything to do with the finance, banking sector. You could also be in the F&B sector or selling alcohol or a bar owner. These are pretty good positions because 11th house is incoming gains, and if your 10th lord has direct connection with the 11th lord, it's a very, very powerful yoga. It also causes a Raj Yoga where people can make a lot of success and money through this position. Okay, now let's look at your 10th lord in the 12th house. So the 10th lord in the 12th house in today's world is seen for a lot of professionals who work in multinational companies, because it is to do with foreign lands as well. And since it's third from itself, it's about communication. So people who are could be working for IT, but they're into the communication industry, and it has something to do with foreign lands. Okay, they could also be in the healthcare industry. All right, they may have certain ups and downs because it is, since it's third from itself. They may gain success later on in their life. Success may not come very easily till they put in their hard work and courage, because 10th lord going third from itself could give certain issues of getting success a little late compared to they might see their colleagues or their subordinates being successful faster than them, but eventually when they put in their hard work and courage, they will be successful. All right, now let's look at the 10th lord in the first house, which is fourth from itself. It's a very, very good position for doing your own business, especially if the Lagna lord is strong and if you are your 10th house is strong. It's very well placed. It's a very, very good position for owning your own business. If planets are getting good aspects, if the 10th lord and the Lagna lord is getting good aspects, you could be into real estate. You could be into anything to do with selling cars if Saturn is involved. Okay, iron and steel as well. Working from home, it's also a very good position for working for professionals who are working, especially after COVID. It's a good position for working from home. All right. Now let's look at your 10th lord in 10th lord is pretty much second house. Itself. We have to look at where the lord, where the planet sits from the 10th house. So if it's in the second house, it is fifth from itself. So it's a very good position, right? People can get into their family, if they have a family business, if they have an established family business, they can look at family businesses in this kind of. They also could be very creative people if Venus is involved. If Venus and Moon are involved, they could be very creative people. They could get into anything in the creative line. They could get into advertising as well, because fifth, creating new content, anything to do with creativity, imagination, all right, and also a good sign for family business. They also could be into banking, because the second house is to do with finances and banking. So they could be anything to do with financial services as well. Creativity. They could be also teachers for kindergarten or children. They could be teachers are also seen from there, because his fifth is lower education, not higher education. So the 10th lord fifth from itself. That's the logic how we look at and how we predict. Especially if Jupiter is involved, they could be educators. They could be teachers for children. Okay. Let's look at the 10th lord in the third house. So it's sixth from itself. They could have some obstacles because the 10th lord is sixth from itself. It could have some obstacles. But if the third house is very strong, right, they could be into business, especially if it's Saturn or if it's Mars, because you need courage and willpower. So very strong, exalted third house is a very good sign for business and risk-taking appetite. They could also, since it's sixth from itself, they could also be into anything to do with communication. They could make fantastic lawyers, because sixth house is the house of legal, 6th from itself could have any legal disputes, and if it's strong, it also includes communication. So that's the logic how I'm telling you. You could also be into law, especially if Mars is involved. Yeah, good lawyers, good communicators, any profession, any career which has communication involved, short distance travel involved could be seen from there. Any profession or career where your younger sibling is a partner, or you have something to do with younger siblings, is also seen from the 3rd house. All right. You could be also into police or armed forces if Mars is involved. You could also be, if Jupiter is involved, you could also be into some kind of education business, because it's communication and education, so it's all coming together. If your 10th lord is in the 4th house, so it is 7th from itself, so it's like business is involved. If Saturn is involved, so definitely business should be involved. And if Saturn is strong and your 4th house is strong and your 10th and 7th house is strong, we will look at business with your spouse, business with your family. You can make your mom your business partnership. Your mom could be running a business and you could take over that business or a certain part of that business. It could be about property dealing, because land is in 4th is your home. So you could prosper about your home, in your homeland where you're born, what you consider as home. So you could be into dealing with land and property. Could be into car dealing as well. Could be into any kind of dealing if Saturn is involved with oil and gas, anything to do with the earth. All right, mining, anything to where the earth gives agriculture. All these different kinds of fields where earth and land is involved is seen from their business in partnership. If the 7th lord and your lagna lord and all these are strong and they're all sitting conjunct in a good sign, it's a good sign for business. Let's look at your 10th lord in the 5th house. Now the 10th lord in the 5th house could be a little tricky, right? Because it is 8th from itself. So people might say, oh, the 10th lord is in the 5th house and it's very nice and strong. But I have noticed that people with this kind of a placement may have certain ups and downs in their careers, no matter it's jobs or business, because the 5th house becomes 8th from itself. Right, so they may suddenly want to quit their career and do something else, because it's about transformation. Okay, so I would not suggest people to suddenly quit their businesses and jobs if this is their placement. All right. Now, what they could look at 8th house. They could relate businesses which have to do with creativity, because 5th house is also the stock exchange. All right, so I have seen some people who've entered speculated fields of business, even investing in the movie industry. All right, producing and investing, and then maybe not doing very well. Even the stock exchange, because it's ups and downs. 10th lord in the 5th house, but it's 8th from itself. Okay, so they need to be a little careful about investing into the stock exchange or any field where you don't know the returns and the risk taking appetite is very high. You need to be a little careful about this industry. They also may have a lot of interest in the 8th house related occult science, anything to do with the occult transformation, especially the Scorpio energy. All right, so people who have a very strong 5th house could also get into anything to do with creativity. All right, any business which involves artwork and create a creative source of income. All right, it could be you could be good with your hands or communication, or you could be writers, authors if 3rd house or Mercury is involved. So it depends on which planet is involved. You need to find out the traits and get into that kind of a profession, right? But make sure that you're not getting into gambling or any kind of very high risk taking business where you're putting up your life's savings and investing in a business, because if the transits or the dasha is not right, you might book losses. Okay, so the 10th lord in the 6th house, a lot of people think this is not a good position, but I believe it is a very, very powerful position if your 10th lord is in the 6th house, because 6th house is considered as not a very good house in Vedic Astrology. But remember, it is ninth from itself, okay, which makes it very powerful, especially if the sixth house is very good and it's strong. You could have long-term employment and earn a lot of money by working for a good company or working for someone. It is also a good position for medicine and law. Doctors can be seen, because sixth house is the house of diseases. So people who, if Venus is involved, I've seen some doctors, lawyers, people who are working for the police, detectives, law, loan officers are seen from there. People, if Mars is involved, sports people are seen from this kind of a placement. If Jupiter is involved, also teachers or educators are seen from this kind of a profession, especially if Jupiter is sitting in the sixth house, and if it's strong, its fifth aspect looks at the 10th house, which makes it very strong and powerful. Okay, so don't think that if your 10th lord is in the sixth house, it is always bad. We have to look at the strength of the sixth house and what planet is sitting there, and what is happening with the 10th house and the Lagna lord. Okay, so let's look at your 10th lord in the 7th house, which is again very, very powerful. It's a very, very strong. If your 7th house is strong, it is a very good position for your 10th lord. It gives you great opportunities to open business for yourself, even with partnership with your spouse. Okay, not just spouse, you can have partnership with other people as well. And if you're in the right field, and the planets, depends on which planet is exalted. For example, if it's Saturn, it's a very, very powerful. If Saturn is your 10th lord, it will exalt because it's in Libra. Your 7th house will be exalted. If you're an Aries ascendant, and if you have Saturn in the 7th house, it's a very powerful position for opening multiple businesses. Okay, so it's people with this kind of a placement could do multiple things in their lives. All right, not just one thing. They might be partners of many different companies. They could be board of directors of certain companies. All right, it's a strong position, but we have to look at the strength. We have to look at strength of the planets. I've seen someone who's into matrimony. A person has opened a matrimonial website and is doing well. I've seen wedding planners as well, because Venus is involved in that, right? Wedding planners, because 7th house is the house of marriage, so the person has gotten into planning weddings, right? So it's a very powerful position for your 10th lord to be, because it is 10th from itself. So the 10th lord is being 10th from itself. So there is a lot of karma that is going on through the 7th house. All right, I also know real estate people. They're introducing two parties. Mercury is involved in that. They're introducing two parties and getting a cut from both the parties. Yeah. Now let's look at your 10th lord in the 8th house. Now this could be a tricky position, because the 8th house energy is involved, so people could have interest in all the 8th house occult related activities. Depends on what sign, planets, aspects, all these things are very important. But usually, if the 10th lord is in the 8th house, it is 11th from itself. Okay, so what is the 11th house? 11th house is incoming gains, and 11th house is also your friends and network circle, the world outside. Okay, so no matter what these people do, they will be their career will have to do with the outside world or the people. So it's a good placement if you want to get into occult sciences, because in occult sciences you want other people to come to you and help them out. Also, if Cancer or Moon is involved, it is a good placement for the service industry, food and beverages. You could be working in a nice 5-star hotel at a high position if it's strong. Okay, it is also a placement for investing in speculated forms. People could also get into gambling, so they need to be careful if they have this kind of a position, because 8th house is sudden ups and sudden downs. So they need to be very careful about their career. They might have a very flourishing career, then boom, it goes down. And then again it picks up, and then it goes down. So because the 8th house traits will be there with this particular placement, so they need to be a little careful by suddenly making changes to their career and their sources of income, and they will be thrown with multiple options in their life where they have to change their career and they make sudden changes. So stay away from sudden changes and focus on long-term stable sources of income, and stay away from any gambling or suddenly investing in an unreliable source of business, or suddenly investing somewhere and getting influenced by someone that you don't know or trust very well. All right, so be careful with if you have this kind of a placement. Now we will talk about your 10th lord in the 9th house. Now this is considered as I look at it as a very, very interesting placement. Now if your 10th lord is in the 9th house, it is 12th from itself. Okay, and also the conjunction, if there is a direct connection between the 10th lord and the 9th lord. So 9th lord is also your higher education, your father have a great influence on you, on your career especially. All right, your gurus, your teachers might have a very, very strong influence. So usually if you have this kind of a placement, people go into the same field where they have done their higher education. Okay, they stick to the field. So in today's world, where there are very few people who are actually pursuing a career that they have done their education in, right? If you have this kind of a placement, usually people, and if it's strong, usually people go into that particular field. And also people may be into, they might want to go to a foreign land for their higher education, or they want to pursue a career in a foreign land. All right. They could also be into healthcare or monasteries. They could be very spiritual people. Okay, because look at it. Look at the placement of the 10th lord. 10th lord is going 12th from itself. So the 12th house realm will play up. They could be into healthcare. Okay. And the 9th house of principles and 9th house of higher learning and travel. So they might travel a lot through their career, or even if they don't career, they would want to travel a lot because of this particular placement. All right. And they might be very principle oriented person. They could be also into following a religion, very, I'm not saying radical, but they could be very principles oriented person. They could be very spiritual or religious people as well. We could also see, if Jupiter is involved, we could also see priests or someone who teaches the ancient texts or talks about religion and teaches religion, or a priest from this kind of a placement. All right. So this is my analysis of your 10th lord in the different houses. So if you have any questions, please let me know and stay tuned. Thank you very much for your time.